In the Odessa region on June 14, 2019 years began a large-scale search for 11-year-old schoolgirl Daria Lukyanenko, who disappeared in broad daylight in the center of the village of Ivanovka. Hello, this is Defunct City. Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to click on the bell so you don't miss new episodes and stay informed. 11-year-old Daria Lukyanenko disappeared under mysterious circumstances. On Thursday afternoon, June 13th, in the district center of Ivanovka, Odessa region. Around 14 o'clock in the afternoon, the girl left the local market where her mother works and walked to the dance class held in the school building. She had to cover a short distance of about a kilometer through the streets of the village. However, Daria did not get to the group that day and did not return home, while her phone has been disconnected since the alleged abduction. According to TSN, the parents sounded the alarm late in the evening by calling their daughter's friends. They found out that the girl did not come to the dance class and called the police late in the evening of June 13. Surveillance cameras last recorded the girl not far from the market. Daria's older sister told the film crew that she had left her mother a few minutes earlier in a good mood, and there had been no quarrels or misunderstandings in the family. This was confirmed by family acquaintances and the director of the school. At one point, several of the missing girl's fellow villagers heard a child's piercing scream near a street about 300 meters from the town market. One of them thought the child had been attacked by stray dogs. However, when one of the men ran outside to help, no one was there. The media also reported that Daria was allegedly broadcasting on Instagram at the time of her disappearance, which suddenly stopped. However, this data has not been officially confirmed. One of the versions that was told by her close friend,
Dasha, was walking down the street and filming a live stream on Instagram. Then the broadcast was abruptly cut short as she was attacked by an adult male. I was watching it. I saw him, but unfortunately, no face. It was a dense adult male. At first everyone thought it was her father, so no one paid any attention. Everyone started to get worried when they realized that her parents didn't know where she was.
On June 14, the police announced that Daria Lukyanenko was wanted. They published several photos of her and reported signs of the girl. She looks 11 and 13 years old. She has a thin build, long blonde hair, and brown eyes. On the day of her disappearance, Daria was wearing a white t-shirt with pink and white flamingos, pink shorts, and black sandals. She was carrying a brightly colored girly bag with multicolored scales on it. This is the shirt and bag Daria was wearing the day she disappeared. Anyone who has any information about the girl or has seen her is asked to call the local police or security numbers. Upon the disappearance of the girl, the police opened a criminal case under the article murder, which provides for a penalty of 10 to 15 years imprisonment up to life imprisonment. Since the beginning of the search, an unprecedented search operation was launched in the Odessa region. It was attended by 100 National Guardsmen, employees of the 5 police departments adjacent to Ivanovka, more than 100 volunteers, and dozens of employees of the State Emergency Service. This is the State Service of Ukraine for emergencies. They combed the surrounding fields, plantings, ravines, and abandoned buildings around the clock. There were dozens of searches and through yard waste. There were national police checkpoints at the entrance, inspecting cars. At one point, the cameras seemed to have even found the car that was on the spot near the market with the girl. But it turned out that it had nothing to do with the case. In addition, the operation is assisted by divers, sinologists, and pilots of the local flying club, leading searches from the air. However, as of Monday, June 18, 2019, the police did not release any information that would shed light on the fate of the missing Daria. According to one version, the girl could have been kidnapped and taken away in a car. There are even pictures of the alleged kidnapper's car circulating in social networks. According to TSN, police officers are indeed tracking cars passing through Ivanovka on the day of Daria's disappearance. There are people who decided to make a profit on the grief of the family. Police officers detained a crook who tried to demand a ransom from the girl's family for the child. He turned out to be a 24-year-old previously convicted resident of the Nikolaev region. He had nothing to do with Daria's kidnapping, but he intended to earn $10,000, said the first deputy head of the National Police, Vyacheslav Abroskin. The girl's mother said,
"I've been seeing a man a lot lately. I thought it was a coincidence, but only now I realized that he was following us. I hope it's not too late. They'll find her. Give me back my daughter. My life has no meaning without her."
The search for Daria Lukyanenko continued for 6 days in the Odessa region. In addition to the National Guard police, dog handlers, and divers, about 200 volunteers joined the operation. The security forces insisted that they would conduct the operation around the clock. But as night fell, the activists were forced to suspend their search. Later, a diagram of the girl's movement on the day of her disappearance and the likely area of the incident appeared in the network. According to the deputy chairman of the National Police, Vyacheslav Abroskin, Daria Lukyanenko disappeared on June 13th between 13 hours, 41 minutes and 14 hours, 24 minutes in the afternoon. Local media wrote that she was last seen near the previously mentioned market. According to relatives and friends of Daria's family, the day after her disappearance, there was hope of finding the child, because her phone was turned on. But the police had no right to establish geolocation without a court order. Unfortunately, on June 19, 2019, Daria's body was found in a cesspool in one of the houses in Ivanovka. Law enforcers detained the main suspect of the owner of the house. He was 26-year-old Nikolai Tarasov. The network wrote that Tarasov was recently released from prison, where he was serving a sentence for rape. The guy had recently returned from Russia and was Daria's roommate. This information was eventually announced officially. However, it is known that Tarasov did not study or work, spent all his days at the computer, and sometimes helped his parents, who work at the market in Ivanovka. During the interrogation, the detainee confessed to his crime and said that he first strangled the 1-year-old girl in the corridor, then undressed her, but allegedly did nothing with her. That is why the expertise did not find any traces of rape on the girl's body. Afterwards, he threw her body into a cesspool and doused her belongings in gasoline and burned them. When law enforcement officers retrieved the child's body, it was completely unclothed. Police consider sexual homicide to be the main reason for Daria's murder. After a lengthy trial, Nikolai was given 15 years in prison. He had already served 4 years for the girl's life, and, as the newspapers wrote, was planning to get out early. In researching the information, I found some of the author's articles. Therefore, the following information will be unofficial, but very interesting. So, one resident of Odessa a year ago wrote in his social media pages what really happened to Daria. As the man claimed, he conducted his own investigation, looked through all the available case materials, all the interviews, and the words of friends. He added that he also found a man's body and parts of another man's hands near the road and several graves in the woods while searching for the girl. But that's what the police themselves also told him about. What, then, is the point of his investigation? And it is that the bodies and limbs were found after the girl's body, while the documents indicate that they were found before her. And in fact, the accused man didn't even know any Lukyanenko family. And the case was as follows. Daria's father owed a large sum of money to an acquaintance, with whom they later had a big fight, and he allegedly promised to kill his family. The question immediately arises as to how he knows this at all. And so it was told by the wife of the man who was allegedly found in the woods before Daria and called a bum. And there is even this interview in the internet and the newspaper Zerkalo Nedeli. Except that the newspaper that published it closed down. A coincidence? Even though the editor-in-chief said that they were only closing the print version of their newspaper, it ended up closing completely. There were also some strange moments. For example, Initially, the house was searched and the girl's body was not found. It was found during the second search, although the body was almost in full view. Either they didn't notice it, which is almost impossible, or it was put there after some time. Now, this detective, so to speak, said that the girl had been strangled by a man to whom her father owed money. And he, in turn, killed him for it and took him into the woods. And to keep the case from going unsolved in the end, they charged a man who had already served time for rape. And yes, it is also strange that a man who was in jail for rape kidnapped a girl, killed her, took off all her clothes, and did nothing. Nikolai Tarasov himself said that the police forced him to confess. I will keep my opinion on this situation to myself, and you write yours in the comments. Do you think 15 years for taking a girl's life is fair?